Mullen has flipped bears into bulls, and it turns out I might have been right all along. So what do you need to know? Stay focused as we go through recent news as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for regular stock market updates. An influential publication in the stock market space which earlier had a bearish take on the company is now bullish, and they expect a potential bull run thanks to the big deals they signed recently. Analysts now project a bull run in 2023 once Randy Marion starts selling Mullen's vehicles, and as competitors like Tesla lose market share, Mullen might have some easy space to cover up. In our opinion, this week's trading session will likely be bullish and the situation will hopefully recover soon. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-day chart for MULN. As always, we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get to the 5-minute chart. But right off the bat, we can see that we're down by 3.24% on the pre-market, and this is definitely not a good sign. And why is it not a good sign? I'll explain that in a single minute. But before that, let's quickly look at the trend real quick. We can see that we're pretty much repeating this pattern that we made over here, right? So we made a triangle over here, right? Made our top over here, just like this one over here, right? And after that, we fell down, got a little nudge, on the upside, and again got a little nudge on the upside over here. And now we'll probably continue our fall a bit. And why is this so? Well, let me tell you guys a few factors, right? First up, of course, the stock, the company, it might be great, right? It can be, it most probably is great in my opinion, right? But at the same time, the stock's performance is not that great. And why is that so? Well, of course, there are three factors involved, right? First up, the short sellers, right? We all know that. Secondly, the bad reputation that Mullen has stacked up over these years, not even over these years, over the past few months when it came to, fame, I would say. That is how, and of course, the third reason being the negative price action, the bearish market in general, right? So first up, coming back to the original point, that why is a 3.8% fall on the pre-market a bad sign? Well, in normal cases, if we were to get a gap down around the S1, around the first major support, that would be 23 cents, right? And if we were to get that, we might have rebounded and built up a bullish trend that day. But at the same time, if we were to go like this low, which is how low? Well, it's even not lower than the second support, right? But at the same time, it's somewhere around there, right? It's on its way to beat the second support. And if we get a gap down below the second support, that's going to be a really, really unpredictable market, right? Because I've never honestly, of course, I have seen such patterns, but they're really hard to predict, right? When a stock gets a gap down by such a hard percentage, there are two scenarios that can usually happen. Of course, if we get a gap down around this point, around 22 cents, I would say, right? That's when we might expect a cool off in the bearish trend in the selling. And then the market, wait, let me close all of this. The market might recover and go up, closing the day a bit under the original S1 that we discussed, right? So if we get a gap down around 22 cents, then we might be able to get an upside move of about 3%, which if you're a long-term holder won't really matter to you. It will be a bad sign. But at the same time, we can see that we did actually get a reversal pattern over here on the negative side, right? Two pin bars, out of which one was green and two were red. So this, of course, is another bearish sign. Why did I draw that? Let me get this over here. Now, some people are saying that it's a good pattern because, let's see. I'm sorry for that. Some people are saying that we might build a bullish trend over here, right? We might get a breakout on the upper side, and that is something that I personally would not agree with it, right? Of course, technical analysis is great, but at the same time, the stocks that are like really influenced by short sellers, by all of those people bashing it, usually they do not abide by technical analysis, right? And that is exactly why I tell you guys to, analyze it using candlestick patterns more than general chart patterns, right? Of course, we can see that, hey, it's going to go up. But at the same time, if you look at the candlestick patterns, it indicates that we got a crazy lot of indecision over here, after which we got an extended sell-off, which usually means that the market is just not in the mood to buy the stock, right? That's of course not a good thing, of course, not what the investors want to hear, but at the same time, I can't lie to you guys. And of course, I'm not siding with the shorts or anything like that, because if I were, well, I would admit it, right? I'm not that bad a person. But at the same time, now coming back to the original point, is MULN a buy right now? If you haven't already purchased it at a higher price, in my opinion, this might be a great point to purchase. And why is that so? While it does look bearish on the trend, right? While it does look bearish on the short term, while it does look bearish on the 6 month chart, not on the 6 month chart, but in the 6 month perspective, in the 6 month time window, right? It will pop up once Randy Marion, as you already talked about in the previous part of this video, once sales start getting through, I believe the stock is going to go boom. And why is that so? Well, first up, the market cap just a little over $100 million. It can easily cross $1 billion, in my opinion, in 2023, if of course everything goes well. So I personally would be waiting for another good entry point. But at the same time, now there's another question that have we hit the bottom already over here at 18 cents, or will we fall further? The next support lies, of course, the next major support lies around 15 cents. So I personally would rather think that it won't head that way. We might get a bounce off around 19 cents. That would be the worst case scenario, in my opinion, right? But we probably shouldn't fall below 18 cents this time because, of course, now even short sellers, even not short sellers, but the people who were earlier bearish on the stock are now turning bullish. And analysts, of course, who earlier said that the stock is bad and you should sell it, are all like, hey, the stock actually might be good. So that, of course, is a good sign, it's positive development. And with that, to continue our chart analysis, we'll head on into the 1 hour chart. So as you guys can see right here now in the 1 hour chart for MULN, and of course I have opened the extended trading hours over here so you guys can get a better view of the pre-market. And now buyers are picking up, right? We can see that the volumes are increasing, 76,000 shares traded, right? So that of course is a good sign. We can see that it's a pin bar candle on the upside now, and it might actually point us towards a bull trend today, which I originally expected before I saw the markets, right? So what I'm expecting is that if, as I already told you, we get a gap up, or rather gap down around 23 cents. So if we can push this just a bit higher around yesterday's market closing price, oh well, that's definitely not a good thing. We're down 5.6%. And how did this affect the volumes? Around 5,000 shares traded, I believe. So probably a 4,000, 5,000 share sell order. And now we're down to 22 cents. And if, of course, as I already told you, we get around 22 cents, we might get a buying later on as a recovery. But that still will be a bad sign. So we'll have to wait and watch where this goes. And by the time that I'm in the 5-minute charts, we'll probably have some more data to analyze it. But at the same time, if we were to analyze simply 23rd December's performance, I zoned out for a moment, and I think I've already made a video on this, but at the same time, there's a lot more to talk about. With the current price action, we can see that, this fall that we were making is kind of getting more realistic, right? We did get a pre-market fall like this over here, another one over here. So this was a bearish trend to begin with. And right now, there's another thing that we must notice, that these pre-markets always had a big green candle in them, right? And today we of course don't have a green candle on the pre. So if we can, get another red candle, then we might be in for a little reversal and we might be able to get a small bull trend. But at the same time, if we look at the bigger picture, as I already told you, this stock might be a good bet, but only for those who are willing to wait and wait and wait, right? It's only beneficial in my opinion if you can hold it for 6 or 8 or at least 5 or 6 months, and it can go up to like a year, 2 years. That's up to you, of course. Whenever you see a good gain, you can completely exit the stock. And as I always tell you, the way I trade risky stocks is that I simply put in the amount of money that I would have put in as a stop loss, right? So that is my entire capital. So my stop loss is now my entire capital. and that is what I let run on both sides, right? So even if it goes to zero, it's only my stop loss at the end, right? I'm not even going to put a stop loss on it. My capital in itself is worth as much as a stop loss if I would have put one. And at the same time, the potential is unlimited. That's my strategy for trading these stocks. And we can see that on the pre-market, we're up to 4%. So that's, well, why did I move this? We're up to 4%. So we did recover by about 1.8%, I believe, right? But still not good enough. I personally think that we need to gap down around 1.5% at a max if we want to get a bull trend today. But then again, we'll have to jump on into the 5-minute chart if we want to analyze this in a bit more detail. And now that we're in the 5-minute chart, we can see again, we have the extended trading hours over here, the pre-market movement, and we seem to get a lot of, we got a lot of selling orders over here. I'm believing that probably 40,000 of these were sell orders, right? 44,890 shares traded over here. We went from a price of 23 cents straight to a price, well, we made a low of 21.7 cents. Not a good thing, but at the same time, considering the fact that a bear trend in the pre-market might actually translate into a bull trend in the actual market, it's not all that bad. But of course, we can see that yesterday, for example, when we got a gap up, I already told you this theory. Once you get a gap up around the S1, so we were trading at what, 23? And the major support next was supposed to be around 24, right? So 24 cents. And over here we got a gap up around 24 cents, right below 24 cents. And we got crazy selling volume. We did recover in the end, but this is pretty much a first candle trick. So when you see that the first candle is opened just below the the resistance one, why did I say S1? It's the R1, and that is when you know that, hey, you should probably sell, right? And at the same time, if it opens just above the S1, that's when you know that, hey, it might be a good time to buy up, because it can go up in the first hour of the market. Now, what do I expect? What do I expect from MULN today? I personally think that, as I already told you, if we get a gap down and go all the way over here, we will get a reversal no matter what trend we catch by the end of today's market, right? So if we get a bullish trend, we'll get a a bearish reversal. If we get a bearish trend, we'll get a bullish reversal, because we can see that MULN always does that. We always get reversals by the end of the market. So that's not all that bad, but at the same time, I will advise you guys to trade this carefully, because again, as I already told you, it's a high risk stock, but at the same time, I could be wrong. So remember that this most definitely is not financial advice, and you should always do your own research before you trade. If, however, you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel, Stox 101, for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.